If you are a salaried employee earning under 50 lakh rupees a year, filing your ITR-1 is a straightforward process. By the end of this walkthrough, you will have your return successfully submitted and verified. Before we open the portal, gather your essentials. You need your PAN card, your physical Form 16 from your employer, your bank account details, and the smartphone linked to your Aadhaar. A quick note on timing. You are reporting the income you earned during the previous financial year, but the system asks you for the assessment year. For this cycle, you must explicitly select Assessment Year 2026-2027. Keep that Aadhaar-linked phone right next to your keyboard. If you cannot receive OTPs on that specific device, the portal will completely block your final submission. Having these specific documents on your desk right now prevents the website from timing out while you search for paperwork, ensuring a seamless, error-free run through the forms. Head to the e-filing portal and log in. From your dashboard, navigate through the top menu by clicking E-File, then Income Tax Returns, and select File Income Tax Return. On the next screen, select Assessment Year 2026-27 from the drop-down menu and choose the Start New Filing option. Choose your status as an individual and pick the ITR-1 form type. When the system prompts you for a reason for filing, simply check the box corresponding to your income bracket and proceed. The portal breaks your return into distinct schedules. Open the first one, Personal Information, and review the page to confirm that your mobile number, email, and home address are perfectly accurate. Scroll down to verify your listed bank accounts. You must ensure that at least one active account is toggled on for your refund nomination. Skipping this simple bank validation check is the primary reason completed tax refunds fail to reach a taxpayer's account. Lock it in before you move forward. Next, return to the main dashboard and open the Gross Total Income Schedule. This screen displays the salary data the government already has. Take your physical Form 16, compare Part B on the left, and ensure every number matches the digital fields on the right. Under the updated rules of the Income Tax Act 2025, the system defaults to the new tax regime. Verify which regime you are currently opted into, as this directly dictates your eligible exemptions. This chart represents your gross income. In the total deduction schedule, a sliced-off chunk represents ADC and ADD investments your employer reported. If any eligible investments were missed, manually input them here. Watch the taxable total drop as new deductions apply to the chart. Meticulously verifying this pre-filled data against your Form 16 ensures your math is flawless. This prevents automated demand notices for underreported income from the IT department later in the year. Next, move to the Taxes Paid section. Ensure the figures here perfectly match the tax deducted at source, or TDS, shown on both your Form 16 and your Annual Information Statement. Click the Total Tax Liability tab. This commands the system to calculate your final math, displaying your final amount payable or your expected refund. To finalize, click Preview Return. Scroll to the document's bottom, check the mandatory declaration boxes, and hit Proceed to Validation. Once the portal confirms your validation is successful, you reach the critical final step. Select E-Verify Now using the Aadhaar OTP method. Check your phone immediately. You must input the time-sensitive Aadhaar password before the strict security session window rapidly closes on your screen. Without completing this final e-verification step within the allowed window, your submitted return is legally invalid. When the portal accepts your OTP, a green Successfully E-Verified message will appear on your dashboard. Just beneath that checkmark, click the Download Receipt button. Save this ITRV PDF document directly to a secure local folder on your computer. The IT department will now process your return on their end, and they will notify you via SMS regarding the status of your refund. Securely downloading the ITRV completes your annual compliance duty, securing your financial peace of mind for the year.
Welcome to This Explainer. Let's dive right into what is arguably one of the biggest legislative transitions in Indian tax history. If you've logged into the official Income Tax Department portal recently, you've probably noticed things look, well, a little different. We are currently right in the middle of a massive overhaul, and the digital infrastructure is basically shifting in real time. So my goal today is to take you on a guided tour of this newly overhauled portal. We're going to walk through the most critical updates, the new tools you'll be using, and the major compliance shifts recently published by the Central Board of Direct Taxes. To make sure we grasp all these complex updates efficiently, here is our roadmap for today. 1. Welcome to Act 2025. 2. Critical July 2026 deadlines. 3. The bill comparison tool. And 4. Navigating new tax resources.
Section 1. Welcome to Act 2025.
Let's start with the big picture, the foundational shift that is completely redefining taxation in India right now. After more than 60 decades, 60 plus years, the legacy 1961 framework has officially been retired. As of April 1st, 2026, it's been replaced by the streamlined 2025 Act. And you can see this macro change instantly on the portal. If you look at the updated navigation menus, the separation is literally built into the architecture. Under the Tax Laws and Rules section, the department has explicitly divided the documentation. You now have distinct repositories, one for the new Income Tax Act 2025, right alongside the old Income Tax Act 1961. This isn't just a fresh coat of paint or a rebranding, it's a complete legislative reset. The portal had to bifurcate its entire legal library so that taxpayers and professionals can reference both the legacy framework for past assessments and the new 2025 Act for everything current and future.
Now, naturally, with a brand new legislative act comes an entirely new rulebook. The portal makes it very clear that you'll now be referencing the income tax rules of 2026, stepping away from the historical 1962 rules. Why does this actually matter to you? Well, because while the act provides the overarching law, the rules give you the procedural steps, the exact forms, and the calculations you need to follow day to day. Every single procedural form is currently being updated to match the 2026 rulebook. In fact, the portal now features a dedicated section for Income Tax Forms 2026, which is absolutely crucial to make sure you don't accidentally file a legacy form for a current transaction. Section 2. Critical July 2026 Deadlines. So, how does this legislative shift impact your immediate compliance calendar? Let's take a look at the short-term obligations. The absolute most crucial takeaway here is that July 14th, 2026 is a massive bottleneck deadline under the new rules. The portal's upcoming due date section is basically glowing red with 5 distinct major filings all stacked up on this exact same day. Let's break them down super quickly. First up, Form 137. This is required for government offices that paid TDS or TCS for the month of June 2026 without a challan. Then you've got Form 132, which is for the issue of TDS certificates for taxes deducted back in May 2026. But wait, there's more. Authorized dealers handling remittances have to furnish their quarterly statements using the new Form 147. Similarly, units operating out of an International Financial Services Center, or IFSC, need to submit their quarterly remittance statements on Form 148. And finally, stock exchanges are required to submit Form 1 for transactions where client codes were modified. Every single one of these forms references the new Income Tax Rules 2026 or sections from the 2025 Act. So if your compliance team isn't already prepping for this July 14th traffic jam, it is definitely time to sound the alarm. Section 3. The Bill Comparison Tool. If trying to balance the old rules with the new forms is starting to feel a bit overwhelming, don't worry. The portal offers a really incredible digital solution, the new IT Bill Comparison Tool. What's fantastic about this utility is just how incredibly simple it is to use. The tax department completely understands that professionals are going to spend the next few years constantly mapping old 1961 sections to new 2025 sections. So, to save you from having to do this manually by flipping through 2 giant physical books, they built this interactive tool directly into the site. You simply pick the specific sections you want to look at from the 1961 Act and the 2025 Act. You can upload files or just select them straight from the digital catalog. Once you hit compare, boom, you instantly get a side-by-side or merged view showing you exactly what changed. It highlights the additions, the deletions, and those really subtle wording tweaks that could totally alter a tax position. And it gets better. Once you run your comparison, you aren't forced to keep your browser tab open just to save your work. You can instantly export your results into a PDF or HTML document. This is an absolute game changer for tax practitioners and corporate finance teams who need to save these analyses for internal records, client presentations, or audit trails. Now, just a quick aside based on a disclaimer on the portal. These comparisons are meant for reference purposes, so you should always double-check the final wording with official Gazette sources just to be totally safe. Section 4. Navigating New Tax Resources. For our final stop, let's rapidly run through some of the most critical compliance updates currently featured on the portal. You will absolutely want to familiarize yourself with these as they clearly signal the department's top priorities right now. First off, there is a very important update regarding the new UIN format to be quoted in Form 121. Under the old 1961 Act, you probably knew this as Form 15G or 15H, you know, the forms used to declare certain incomes without tax deduction. Well, under the 2025 Act, it's now Form 121, and getting this new UIN format right is going to be essential for banks and individual taxpayers. Next, the portal is highlighting the CBDT's Second Nudge Initiative. This is a public awareness campaign aggressively targeting the disclosure of foreign assets. The department is basically trying to prompt taxpayers to come clean voluntarily on their overseas holdings. We're also seeing enforcement updates, specifically a nationwide verification exercise targeting restaurants suspected of suppressing their turnover. And on the global front, the portal just published the newly signed amending protocol that updates the double taxation avoidance convention between India and France. So, as you can see, the portal is acting as a live feed for both domestic and international tax shifts.
Now here is a really fascinating piece of data straight from the portal's updates, 219. That represents the exact number of advanced pricing agreements, or APAs, that the CBDT signed in the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year alone. For multinational corporations, this metric is huge. Advanced pricing agreements are designed to give companies certainty in transfer pricing and avoid those exhausting, drawn-out legal battles over cross-border transactions. Hitting 219 agreements in a single year shows a massive, deliberate push by the department to create a more predictable and business-friendly tax environment, even while they're rolling out a completely new tax code.
Before we officially wrap up this explainer, I really need to highlight this massive security warning directly from the department. You'll actually see this persistently displayed at the bottom of the portal. With a transition as huge as moving to the 2025 Act, there is going to be confusion. And unfortunately, scammers love confusion. They use it for phishing attacks, sending emails claiming you need to update your details for the new system. The department is making it crystal clear here. They will never ask for your PIN numbers, passwords, or credit card info via email. So please stay vigilant, verify everything through the official portal, and don't let the anxiety of learning new compliance rules trick you into compromising your personal data. The new digital tools are all mapped out and waiting for you on the updated portal. We've explored the clear division of the new laws, those urgent July deadlines you can't miss, and the incredibly helpful comparison utilities built to make your life easier. So I have to leave you with this final thought. Is your compliance strategy actively adapting to the new 2025 framework, or are you letting your knowledge fall behind in 1961? Take a few minutes today to log on to the portal, click around the new 2026 rulebooks, and try out the bill comparison tool for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy navigating.
All right, let's dive right into this explainer and take a structured tour of the newly updated Income Tax Department portal. Whether you're a seasoned tax pro or an everyday taxpayer, the sheer volume of updates happening on the official portal right now is, frankly, staggering. We are standing on the precipice of a massive legislative shift. So today, we're going to break down exactly what's on this portal, how to use the newest tools, and what immediate deadlines are looming over us. Let's get into it.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the new 2025 Tax Act, then check out the bill comparison tool, look at transition resources, flag some upcoming July compliance deadlines, and wrap up with a few new departmental initiatives.
Starting off with Section 1, the new 2025 Tax Act.
So, if you hop over to the Tax Laws and Rules section right now, you won't just see the usual rules. You're actually looking at two parallel universes of taxation. We've got the historic 1961 Act that we all know, but right beside it, the brand new 2025 Act. It's wild. The portal is literally forcing us to acknowledge that this massive transition is already underway.
Now, you might be wondering, when does this actually hit us? Well, straight from the official CBDT press release, we have a hard date. The Income Tax Act 2025 officially kicks in on April 1st, 2026. So yeah, this isn't just some distant theory anymore. The digital framework is live, the documents are out there, and our countdown to figure all this out has officially started.
Moving on to Section 2, the bill comparison tool. Okay, the government definitely knows that asking us to manually cross-reference a 1961 legal document with a 2025 one is a recipe for absolute chaos. So what did they do? They built a really neat comparison tool right into the interface. You literally just drop your files or select your sections from both acts, hit compare, and boom, you see the differences side by side. You can even export it as a merged PDF for later. It's an absolute game changer that's going to save us all hours of headache-inducing reading.
But hey, quick heads up on this. There is a vital disclaimer attached to the tool. While it's incredibly handy for research, it is strictly for reference purposes only. It's not the final legal authority. So absolutely use it to speed up your workflow, but when you're finalizing your compliance or taking a hard legal position, you've still got to refer back to the official gazetted publications.
Better safe than sorry, right?
All right, Section 3, Navigating Transition Resources.
If all this 2025 Act stuff is making you feel a bit overwhelmed, don't sweat it. The portal designers have smartly ditched those giant, impossible-to-read instruction manuals. Instead, they've mapped out these highly specific, targeted FAQ sections. Are you a senior citizen? Bam, there's a folder just for you. Worried about your rental property or maybe your TDS? You can click directly into those dedicated silos. It makes absorbing all this complex transitional info so much more efficient and personalized.
Next up, Section 4, Upcoming July Compliance Deadlines.
So, while we're all busy stressing about structural changes coming in 2026, the day-to-day machinery of tax collection hasn't stopped for a second. The portal's tax calendar is flashing with a rapid cluster of due dates coming up super fast in July and early August. We are looking at a really dense concentration of filing requirements hitting back-to-back over just a 3-week stretch. Just to put this into perspective, let's zoom in on a single day, July 14th. The sheer volume of forms due on this one day is pretty intense. You've got government offices dealing with Form 137, authorized dealers handling remittances filing Form 147, IFSC units on Form 148, and stock exchanges submitting Form 1. The big takeaway here, you absolutely need to be checking the upcoming due dates section regularly. Missing even one of these super specific deadlines could trigger a massive compliance headache.
And finally, Section 5, New Departmental Initiatives.
Taking a step back to look at the broader international taxation space, the Central Board of Direct Taxes is operating at a truly massive scale. Prominently featured right now is a celebration of 219 advanced pricing agreements signed in just the last financial year. For multinational enterprises, this is a huge push by the department to provide transfer pricing certainty. It actively reduces cross-border litigation and really helps foster predictable, safe investment.
The portal is also proudly highlighting the second phase of their Nudge initiative. I find this fascinating, especially from a behavioral economic standpoint. Instead of just relying on the old-school methods of audits and heavy penalties, the government is proactively running public awareness campaigns. They're essentially nudging taxpayers to accurately report their foreign assets voluntarily. It's a very modern, communication-first approach to enforcement.
Before we wrap up, a quick reality check. Before you start using any of these shiny new digital tools, please heed the explicit security warning tucked at the bottom of the portal. As these digital tools get more sophisticated, well, so do the scammers. The department makes it crystal clear they will never, ever ask for your PIN, passwords, or credit card information via email. Always double-check that you're actually on the secure official incometax.gov.in domain. Protect your data, guys.
So what does this all mean for us? The ultimate takeaway from this explainer is that the entire roadmap for the future of taxation is laid out right there online, right now. We've looked at the comparison tools, the targeted FAQs, and those rigid compliance calendars. The department has digitized the transition, and this legislation is moving forward whether we're ready or not. The portal is totally geared up for 2026. The real question is, are you?